I am riding on the SX10. This is a 2800 watt dual motor scooter from Leoout. It's ridiculously fast and ridiculously fun, and I don't really know what else to say about it for an introduction, so let's just get right into it. Alright, so here's a quick walk around of the scooter. This is the folding mechanism here. You pull this up, and then you're able to fold the handlebars down. When you put the bike together, which there's not much to it with it, when it comes to putting it together, there's just a pin that goes through here that you tighten down, and then you put the handlebars on up top, and that was it for assembly. So folding the handlebars back up, make sure that this is slid all the way down and locked into place. This scooter is very fast, and you want to be really careful and make sure that you don't have any play in your handlebars for wiggle room. The hub motors are built directly into the wheel, and we do have disc brakes here. They're mechanical disc brakes. There's one on the front and rear, and the hub motors are 1400 watt motors. So you may hear this thing marketed as a 2800 watt scooter. It's 1400 watt on the front and 1400 watt on the rear. Don't let that discourage you if you are a power fiend, because that is it's still very, very powerful. There's a shock absorber system built on the front and back, so this thing handles off-road no problems whatsoever. And we do have plastic fenders on the front and rear. Around back, more of the same. We've got a mechanical disc brake, another 1400 watt motor, and the shock absorber again. We've got turn signals in the back here. We've got two separate charging ports here, so the batteries can be charged up at the same time, saving yourself a lot of time. The battery sits in here. It's a 52 volt 25 amp hour battery, and it takes about 6 hours to charge if you're using both charging cables. And we've got a spot here to add a suspension seat that comes with the bike. I tried it out. I prefer standing, so that's why I've got the seat off the bike, but this is where the seat mounts to if you do so choose to use it. Up top here we've got comfort grips, and our brake levers feel pretty well built. This is our on and off switch for the headlight. Turn signal switches here, horn, and we've got a voltage meter here. Keys turn the scooter on and off, and over here we have our control for the throttle, which also needs to be turned on or off. We've got a mode button here, 1, 2, and 3. All that's pretty intuitive. Down here, these are very confusing because one is labeled Eco Turbo, and if you put it in Eco mode, it's going to limit the top speed to somewhere around 17 miles per hour. And if you put it in single dual, basically this controls whether you're getting any output to the front wheel. So if you've got it in dual mode, you're getting power to the front and back wheel. If you've got it in single, it's back wheel only. These are really confusing because you've got Eco up top here and dual at the bottom on this button. And if you push Eco in, I think that's turbo mode. And if you put dual in, so Eco is up top here and dual is at the bottom, and I think they're like flip-flopped. It's just one of those things that I've had to mess with it every time to get that correct. It's very confusing. Other than that, the controls are okay. I would prefer a thumb throttle over a trigger throttle, but I think I've yammered about this enough. Let's get back on the road. Okay, so we're going to go through all the modes here. I've got turbo on, but single motor only. We're going to go up through the different modes here. Mode 1, this should cap us out at about 15-16 miles per hour. And yeah, that's putting us at about 15 miles per hour. And now we're going to go up to mode 2. Very gradual acceleration from that. I did feel it kick in though. And that's putting us at 21-22 miles per hour. And mode 3, this should take us up to right around 25 miles per hour. And honestly, mode 3 with single motor is my favorite mode. It doesn't feel like batshit crazy, but you're still keeping the thing under control. and you're getting some really good speed and acceleration out of it. Alright, so we're going to do just a takeoff from a stop in mode 3. Here we go. Again, this is single motor. Very sharp curve here. Yeah, it always says danger, please walk bikes, but we're gonna just kind of casually not do that. This suspension should be pretty nice going over this bumpy bridge. Oh yeah, that was nice. Popo's looking at me there. I'm going to drop down to mode 2 for a minute just so he doesn't go get any ideas. Alright. I'm going to go back to mode 3. I'm going to go to, I'm in turbo already. I'm going to turn on dual. We've got a pretty fierce hill here. We're going to go up this thing, and my God, I hope it doesn't throw me off. Yeah. I mean, it climbs right up this hill like it's absolutely nothing. And this is way too fast to be going through this park. I don't want, whoa, yeah, time to turn dual motor off. Alright, so we're going to go back to mode 3 now. We're going to turn on dual, and we're going to go down the road here, but I want to get off of any kind of gravel because this is scary fast. Alright, here we go. Yeah, this thing cooks, man. Yeah, this thing freaking flies. I would only use mode 3 and dual motor on a road with no bumps. Because if you hit too much of a bump or a dip or a pothole or a squirrel at that speed, straight to the hospital or the morgue. I'm popping it up into dual mode now. I've got some pretty smooth road here, and I'm going to go on turbo mode 3. Here we go. So the more I ease into it, the less scary the top speed is, especially with dual motor and turbo mode. It's definitely something you want to ease into, and make sure you don't use that on a bumpy, curvy road. It really is kind of made for smooth pavement, and I wouldn't take my chances with these curves without the visibility, because the possibility of hitting a pedestrian around a curve hitting a bump and flying off the scooter and landing up in the ER or the morgue. To me, that's not a fun day. Also, make note that when you use that second motor, it really drains the battery a lot faster than just using single motor mode. For me, I think the most efficient range you can get out of this is going to be on single motor and running it in mode 2. That'll give you a top speed of around 21 miles per hour, and you'll be able to go forever on this thing with that. So I am 5'10", and I consider myself pretty average height and very average arm length, and this scooter fits me just perfectly. So if you're around my height, give or take, you're going to be able to ride it fairly comfortably. So this scooter does fold up nice and neat, but keep in mind that it does weigh 88 pounds of all motor and batteries. So if you have to lug something up the stairs a lot, up tall stairs, this might not be the scooter for you. Just keep that in mind. We'll go out here and do a little bit of off-roading. I am in mode 3 right now. I'm going to go to mode 2 for off-road because you know what, we're going to start out in mode 1. Another thing that you should be aware of with this is if you're going through the different modes, say I was in mode 3 at that point, I want to go to mode 1, that's fine. You loop back around and go to mode 1. But if you're in, say, mode 2 and you want to go to mode 1, you got to go to mode 3 first and then back to mode 1. But anyway, like I said, we're going to start off in mode 1 here and go off-roading. And I am in mode 1, turbo mode, single motor. Here we go. Oh yeah, not bad at all. I'm going to kick it up a notch into mode 2. The thing peels out when it takes off when you're on dual motor mode, but I'm going to switch it over to dual now and take off in the grass here, and we're going to see how much better that does. Whoa! Yeah, it's got some power. Like a little too much power for this kind of setup, because if you hit a rabbit hole or something going this fast, you're going to have a bad time. But if you take it down to, say, mode 1 and use dual motor, geez, it's still kind of ridiculous. Let's go eco and dual motor. Here we go. Whoa, yeah, so that's what I was talking about, where this thing is just so rabbit fast. It's definitely something that I'm going to stick with on the pavement. So final thoughts on the Leoout SX10. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. When I first got this thing, I was really kind of terrified of it. But I found a spot where I could practice on it at a good long straight line and got used to it, got used to the acceleration, and got used to what to expect out of the different modes. And as with anything, once I learned how to ride it, I was just fine. That's my best suggestion for anybody who's curious about buying this thing and wanting to ride it themselves. You really got to take the time to figure out what it can do, because if pretty much everybody who's hopped on this thing and tried to take off with it have said the same thing, the torque is just like surprisingly high, and it kind of throws a lot of people for a loop. So the first time I rode it, it was very scary to ride, but now I've really kind of eased into it, and I kind of know when to use each mode, and each mode is a tool for a job. And if you use the wrong mode in the wrong situation, you're going to have a bad day. So I highly advise that if you get this thing, you're definitely going to want to wear a helmet and practice with it a lot, because it's got a lot of power that if you're not ready for it, like I said, you're going to have a bad time. Now, with that being said, once I did get used to it and know what all the modes do, the scooter has been nothing but an absolute joy to ride. It's so much fun, and it's got so much just breakneck acceleration. You could get into a lot of trouble on this thing if you're the kind of person who gets into trouble. As far as is it worth it for the money, I honestly don't know. This is legitimately the first time I've ever ridden a scooter in my life. And to me, it's a lot of fun. I think it's worth every penny that you pay for it. At the price tag of just under $1,100 on Amazon right now, I think you're getting a lot of battery, a lot of motor, and a lot of speed out of this thing for that price. But let me know what you think. I think you scooter experts could weigh in on this and educate some of us, but I think it's a lot of fun, but I'll leave it at that. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.